So we want to start off with shout from the summit. Who's got good news to share, um, or something to celebrate? Good news to share or something to celebrate? Jeff Abel, share something good.
Good for you. Congrats.
We're going to call on you if we don't get any help.
Okay, so Emily just said she's excited to be joining the Skinner team. Congratulations.
Congrats, Emily.
And then on a personal note, I survived 11 hockey games over the weekend, and my daughter's team won the championship. So
that's amazing. Congratulations. 11 games for your daughter, or 11 games between your daughter and your son?
11 games between the daughter and the son. Right. She played 7.
A way that you can set it up.
Slackers.
That's
Hey, Jeff, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say we're seeing some good market movement here in Estes Park. So a listing that's been on the market since August, 2 offers this weekend, and we're over original list price back in August.
I love it. Wow, that's amazing. Good news. Anyone else? Good news to share? All right, let's dive in. We've got some announcements to share with you, some upcoming events that you need to put on your calendar. Jay Papazan is going to be teaching on the 21st, that's tomorrow, via Zoom, the busyness trap. So if you are looking to get more out of your time, make sure that you attend the busyness trap tomorrow. We've also got, just a second, Marielle, are we recording?
Yes.
Yes.
We've got the MREA Book Club and Mastermind on the 23rd, and that is on Zoom, led by Top of the Rockies Scott Thompson. All are invited to that. The regional rally is on Monday, and this month's regional rally features Kazan Clark. She's going to be talking about AI, and I had the name of the session, but it's going to be about increasing your production using AI tools. You can get to the regional rally by going to kwcoregionalrally.com. You can register. It'll put it in your calendar, and it will also give you the Zoom link right there. So that's on Monday, 11 to 12. Lydia Galesh is teaching Win with Sellers in Edwards on the 28th. February 4 and 5, Leverage Series with Wendy Papazan. That class has a tuition, and it's in Denver. That class is for those looking to identify talented people so that they can hire right, and then train them and keep them long-term and get out of the trap of constantly going through team members. Every Tuesday, productivity coach Katie Briggs does her session from 1 to 2 on Zoom. And she's located in the Frisco office for that. Rod is teaching contracts every Wednesday, 1 to 3 in Edwards. And accountability groups happen on Thursdays from 1 to 2 via Zoom and in the Frisco office. Some save the dates. We're doing Top of the Rockies Awards on March 4th, time TBD. We are doing Mountain Properties Awards. They're going to be a brunch awards this year at Harvest, and that is 10:30 to 12:30 on Thursday the 5th. KW Colorado has awards at the Ritz-Carlton at 9 a.m. on the 6th. That's a Friday. And also save the date for the Shift Workshop with James Shaw, and that's happening in Denver at the Legacy Campus. It's a lot of stuff. Oops. Check your inbox later today. We're doing a vendor survey. We want to put together detailed vendor lists for both of our market centers, and we would like your help in putting those together. If you submit somebody's name, the assumption is that you've worked with the vendor, they're good, you stand by them. So please be careful in who you put on that check look out for that survey coming today. If you're going to family reunion in Atlanta, we have a Market Centers dinner on Sunday night, February 22nd. We have sent you an email about it, and some of you have not responded yet. I know you're going. The dinner's going to be at 6 p.m. Sunday night. It's going to be at Morton's Steakhouse. We have a private room. Don't miss this. Email me or text me if you'd like to attend, and I'll get your name on the list. For family reunion, the CEO Summit on Saturday is sold out, and you can still get tickets to the main event, which includes on Sunday Social Media Con. Gary Vaynerchuk speaking that day. So is Ryan Leake and Gary Keller. They're going to be talking about social media, AI, and how to increase your digital marketing presence. And the keynote for the main event, he'll be on Tuesday, is Jay Shetty, former monk, now thought leader. Some cool stats that I wanted to share with you. This chart is for Mountain Properties, and this shows year-end. How did Keller Williams International do? How did the Colorado region do? How did the Vail Board of Realtors do? And how did our market center do? And just for context, some of these boxes are pink, some are green. Pink means we grew less than 10% or we went backwards. Green means our growth exceeded 10%. So here's just kind of an overall. Notice that the market center Mountain Properties has lots of green as compared to the Board of Realtors, as compared to the region, as compared to Keller Williams International. While the Realtor Board was down 7% last year compared to the previous year in closed units, we were up 17%. Great job, everybody. While the Realtor Board was up only 5% in listings taken, we were up 15%. While the Realtor Board was down 7% in listings sold, we were up, look at this number, 34% in listings sold. And my data that I source for the board doesn't give contracts written, but we were up 20%, and that's really impressive. So great job, Mountain Properties. I just gave you the units for closings, listings taken, listings sold, and contracts written. I didn't give you the volume, but the volume numbers basically follow there. And we like to highlight units because units shows what we're doing. Volume shows what the market's doing. So good job, everybody. I'll send these slides out so that you can look at this in detail. Top of the Rockies, same story. The board was down 1% in closings. We were up 50%, and that's tremendous. The board was up 6% in listings taken. We were up 19%, and that too is tremendous. The board was down 1% in listings sold. We were up 40%, and we were up 52% in contracts written. So great job, everyone, on exceeding the realtor boards that you're part of in terms of growth and production. Whoops. Is Katie here? Leslie?
She's not here.
He's not here. Okay. I want to recognize.
She's stuck on a call. She'll be. You can interview her
I want
when.
to recognize for Summit County some December top producers. Jamie Callahan was our top solo agent with 4 million closed. Ryan Doobie 2.5, Dan Derman 2.4, Dan Lee 2.3, and Carrie George 1.8. Great job, all. For Summit, our top producers, teams, and groups, Signature Home Team, Jeff and Company, 3.4 million. The Skinner Team, 3.2 million. The Vega Team, 3.1 million. Ideal Asset, 1.6. And the Barn Hill Group, 1 million in change. Great job, all. For Vail, top producers, Daniela led the way at 3 million. Will at 600,000. Ryan at 600,000. And Sarah Parrish at 400,000. And for teams, Black Bear, 700,000. The Gold Team, 600,000. Great job, all. Greg Greenhalge is here. Greg is the team leader at KW Cherry Creek in Denver. And he is a member of the Rocky Mountain Educational Services faculty. And we asked him to share today because Greg is an expert at customer experience and delivering a great customer experience. Greg, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, of course. Extremely excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you. Take it away, Greg. Tell us about customer experience.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, Russ kind of alluded to a little bit of who I am and specifically how we focus, especially here in the Denver market, on customer service. If I've had the opportunity to speak in front of you or your group, I know that I've seen some familiar faces here today. We talk about customer service all the time. And unfortunately, I think that we live in a world today where the customer experience is slowly dwindling. Right? I want you to think for a moment, when was the last time that you had a 10 out of 10 or higher customer experience? Think of it just for a second. Maybe write it down, jot it down on your notes. I'm going to guess that it's probably going to take you a minute to actually come up with that thought. And the reason is because we now live in a day and an age where technology is taking over, where you go to the grocery store and you do self-checkout, where you can order your things on Amazon and they get delivered to your door and you don't even have to see the delivery guy, right? So what does customer experience mean? And I think now more than ever, especially in the real estate world, it's the most important thing for building our business. So as Russ alluded to, I am the team leader here at Denver Central here in Cherry Creek, Glendale area. Been in the business for about 13 years, not only in real estate, but obviously boots on the ground in helping buyers and sellers invest and purchase property here throughout the state of Colorado. Believe it or not, I actually did not get in real estate because I wanted to, right? Sometimes people throw daggers at me of like, oh my gosh, you didn't have this passion from a young age. Crazy enough, I actually started in the TV world. I studied broadcast journalism at the University of Colorado and actually began my career in TV news. I used to sit in front of a teleprompter and read a screen of what was happening in Colorado real estate, and somehow everyone was like, he's the expert. At that time, I had not bought a house. I had not sold a house. I barely even made my rent payments because I thought beer was more important, and that was my life. That was as close as I got to real estate. But I started with a company. There was a fantastic and dear friend of mine who's actually our managing broker here at the office, Whitney Sweet, who said, hey, I want you to be the face of our company. We started a real estate brokerage 13 years ago. Believe it or not, it's the company Trey Laura. Again, thank goodness I'm on Zoom. For those of you that know Trey Laura, it is the flat fee real estate company that kind of came in to shake up the real estate industry. Again, don't hurt me. I didn't know what I was doing. I did not know what real estate was. I was just going to be a really beautiful face on the side of for sale signs, making lots of money, right? Isn't that why we all got into the business anyway? However, what I really realized very soon on is that Trey Laura was a model of putting people on a conveyor belt. In my very first year of real estate, I sold 103 transactions only on the buy side, but I would show up at the closing table, introducing myself and shaking their hand, waiting to hear the name of the person that I had either been on the phone with or communicated with via email the entire process to know which side of the table I should sit on and which side of the which side of the table I was actually to represent. Because the customer service experience, unfortunately, was just not there. I realized very, very quickly that's not the business that I wanted to create or the business that I wanted to be in. So I jumped ship from good old Trey Laura, and now excited to be here with Keller Williams, now in my fourth year here at KW. Believe it or not, I'm also a co-owner of a multi-unit chain restaurant that actually originally started in Chicago. We have 4 locations in Chicago, 2 here in Denver, Colorado, 1 in Las Vegas, and another one opening in San Diego, also known as Happy Camper. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I'll be honest with you at. It is a glorified Pizza Hut. Do y'all have Pizza Huts? Is there a Pizza Hut in Breckenridge, Vail, Estes Park? Or Blackjack, or you name it. Your standard pizza place. And what's funny is if you notice, a lot of those locations have also now gone out of business. And what was funny is I also studied them and the lack of the customer experience. For those of you that remember Shakey's or Pizza Hut, what they did is they created a buffet. Ooh, yeah, come and have a pizza buffet. What quickly ended up happening is people were like, I can have a buffet at my house and I can eat my pizza in my underwear or in my skivvies or in my pajamas. And then I don't have to get ready because then I don't have to see anybody and I don't have to interact with anybody. And unfortunately, those locations are now no longer. So anybody want to share? Anybody can kind of give me what you feel was maybe a top 10 out of 10 customer experience that you have had in the past. You can either drop it into the chat box, come off mute. Anybody have an example of maybe where you had a 10 out of 10 experience when it came to customer service? It looks like Dakota, maybe this weekend. I'm not sure if that comment was for me.
Yeah, I actually just had that experience this weekend. Unfortunately, I had lost my keys to my car on the ski mountain, and when we came down off the mountain and went to go home, couldn't get the car or drive home. So I started asking like the front desk and everyone if any keys had been found, and I mean, from an unfortunate situation, the amount of people that responded and the amount of managers they brought out, and they started emailing people and they started filling out loss reports for me and started hooking me up with all these connections and who I needed to talk to and everything. It was pretty crazy.
And you found your keys, and you're probably now a customer for life, I would assume. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I did have to wait until the lost and found office opened the next day. But yeah, I mean, they called me like 8 a.m. right as they opened. They were like, we found your keys. And yeah, it was very well organized and it was very surprising the amount of solutions that they had to offer. So
I love that. I love that. And I'm sure there's probably some additional examples. And that's why I really say, I think especially here in 2026, one of the biggest opportunities for us as real estate agents is to create a customer service advantage. And I highlight that word right there, the customer service advantage. What is it that you are going to do differently than your competition that when it comes to that 10 out of 10 5-star service? I believe that, again, customer satisfaction is more important than ever. And as Gary said, right, if you want extraordinary results in 2026, whether that's financial, whether that's more closings, whether that's more business, you cannot be average. We cannot be the Pizza Hut. We cannot be the Shakey's. We cannot be the buffet, the one size fits all. We cannot be the self-checkout anymore. We have to figure out, again, what is going to make us much, much different than that of our competition. And what I will tell you is what we often find out is that we actually don't understand what our customers are even wanting. Right? So this graphic actually comes directly from the customer service class and customer experience course that we offer here at KW University. And something that really stuck with me is the column over there on the left-hand side and the myths that we have when it comes to customer experiences. I think oftentimes we think that customer service is something that we define, right? It's defined by us, or that it starts and stops at the end of the transaction. This is one I think that we always, unfortunately, get wrong. It's our opportunity to meet the customer's needs. That there's a one-size-fits-all campaign, or that it addresses the customer's specific issues as they arise. It does not happen organically, and success is based on the feelings alone. When all actuality, the truth appears over on the right-hand side. And what's so interesting is when customers, whether it's in real estate or just in general, are surveyed, these are the biggest things and the pain points that we as consumers are looking for, but we often don't take the time to think of it as somebody that is providing customer experience to our buyers and sellers. It is actually defined by them. Customer experience is defined by them. So you need to understand what is it that your customers are actually looking for. It starts and continues for a lifetime. And I think that one's extremely important that we understand. The also is the meeting their needs and connecting at an emotional level, and exceeding their expectations. And we're going to talk about that one here a little bit more in greater detail. It also is personalized and it touches on those emotions. It addresses the issues plus any other issues that customers didn't even know that they had. It has to be intentional and you have to set the standard. And also, it has to be measurable by repeat and referral business and surveys. Show of hands here. Who would like to increase their referral or repeat business in 2026? Every single hand should be up. I don't see everybody's hand up. Everybody's hand should be up in the air, right? Ladies and gentlemen, here's what's so interesting for me, right? The cost of a bad experience is exponential. Here, according to thunderhead.com, 25% of your customer base will switch providers or real estate professionals, offices, locations, etc., based on a bad experience. 357,000 negative shares. And at first, when I read this, I was like, wait, that doesn't even make sense. And the problem is when you think about it, when people have a bad experience, they love to shout it from the mountaintops. They love to tell everybody about it, but they rarely talk about the good times. And so therefore, unfortunately, those negative shares get shared and repeated and viewed over and over again. 19% of those folks lose trust in you, and 59%, almost 60%, have no relationship. They look at you just like that Walmart beep, beep, beep. Please pay. How many bags did you use? Thanks so much. Have a great day. There's no relationship. I think it's important that we think of your client-centric approach not as a series of random acts, but as a system. Again, a client-centric approach, not as a series of random acts, but as a system. And what I find is that the most successful real estate professionals approach service with the same level of intention and strategy that they apply to lead generation and marketing. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I think a majority of us are guilty, and that we feel like if I can just get the next lead, if I can just get the next closing, then I can go focus on my customer experience. But I need the money now. The problem is, and what we do here at our office, is we divide it up into 3 parts. A third, a third, a third. A third of our day is the intention and strategy when it comes to lead generation. A third of our day is the intention and strategy when it comes to marketing. And then the last third of our day is the intention and the strategy when it comes to a client-centric approach of providing a fantastic 5-star, 10 out of 10 customer experience. Everybody know the 80-20% or 80-20 rule, right? I'm sure Russ probably talks about it a lot. We've heard about it a lot. It's part of the one thing that Jay Papasan talks about a lot. And if you come to tomorrow's Zoom call with Jay, you're going to hear a lot more about the 80-20 principle. But here's what's so interesting. We know our numbers have proved year and year again that we know that 20% of your customers actually represent 80% of your revenue. Let that sink in really quick. 20% of your CRM or 20% of your database represents 80% of your revenue. But we also found that within the initial 20%, that 80-20 rule also exists, meaning that the top 20% of the top 20% of your customers, which equals out to be roughly the top 4% overall, represent 64% of your sales. Over half of your business, ladies and gentlemen, is coming from the database that you already have, the people that you're already talking to, and the repeat and referral business. But so often we forget about them. They bought a house 2 years ago. They're not going to call me tomorrow. They're there for the next 10 years. They're raising a family there. I'll call them when the kids graduate high school. We're missing out on so many dollar bills to ultimately put in your pocket. So please remember that the 80-20 rule actually is within itself multiple different times. So here's what's so fascinating to me, and I think that we can also agree that it is easier and cheaper for you to keep a customer than it is to get a new one. And my biggest pet peeve, ladies and gentlemen, is the agents that come to me and are like, Craig, I need more leads. How can I get turned on for leads? I need leads. I'm willing to spend money. I'm willing to give Zillow 60% of my commission so I can have a lead. But ladies and gentlemen, again, the customers are already in your database. We just have to find ways to love on them. Here are my top 3 things that I'm going to give you today that we're going to dive into. And here's what's so great. Because Russ invited me, I'm going to give you and leave you with a list of 24 different opportunities to build your customer experience base in 2026 when I finish up here. But these are the top three that I think are the most important. So if there's nothing that you take away from today's meeting, I want to make sure that it's these three. Your brand is your first impression, and it speaks volumes about how you do business. Your number one homework assignment after today's team meeting is to go and Google yourself. What is the first impression that everybody else is seeing when they go and get on the Google machine to see who you are? How are you showing up? Where are you showing up? Are you showing up? If I was a consumer and I can't find you, if I can't find Russ Nolting, how's anybody going to be able to find my house? Second one, number two, make your marketing assets, your marketing and your social media or your website a service hub. And I'm going to dive deeper into this one. Everything that you post, your website, your social media posts, everything should be a service hub. How can I be of service to the customer? And number three, we have to start sharing more of our client wins with specific personalization. So let's jump into these here really quick. As I mentioned, if the customers can't find you, they believe that no one else will be able to find their home, or you won't be able to find a home for them. So again, homework assignment number one, go and Google yourself. Where do you show up? How do you show up? And is it the information that you want out of there? Here's what's so interesting, ladies and gentlemen. When we did this actually in December, planning for our 2026, I had every single one of my agents go and Google themselves. Half of them found that they had an old phone number listed, an email that they no longer use, an office or a brokerage that they are no longer at. Their information wasn't even correct. Can you imagine if you wanted to take your friends to a 5-star dining experience and you went and Googled and looked it up and you found that they're open on Mondays and they close by 9 p.m. So you make a reservation by 7, you show up at 6:45, you're dressed in your nicest clothes because you're ready for a 5 out of 5 or a 10 out of 10 customer experience. And you get there and the restaurant says closed for the winter. Or in your guys' case, I think they close for the summer, right? Close for the summer. You'd be pretty upset, right? How do they not let us know? It unfortunately ruins the customer experience immediately, and now you have that negative connotation in your mind. It's the exact same for us as real estate professionals. They have to be able to find us. So as I mentioned, we have to create a service hub. And if you notice over there on the far left, I want you to read this in your mind. I want you to read it out multiple times. But on the far left of this screen, ladies and gentlemen, here's what's so interesting. People will forget what you said. They will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Dakota just gave us an example right there. She had a whole entire team helping her, surround her to try to find her keys. A couple years from now, she's going to forget that guy's name that ended up helping her. She's going to forget who that person was or what they did yesterday to help her get to where she needed to go in finding those keys. But she will never forget how they made her feel when the calm came back over, when she received those keys, was able to put them in the ignition, start her car, and get back on with her life. So your websites, your social media needs to be filled with tools and resources for your customer. If I go to your website, what am I getting from it? What resources and tools can I pull from it that I can use? Simple FAQs on your website are also a great opportunity for you to answer their questions before they even have them. Ladies and gentlemen, the email that I send with my calendar invite before going to a listing appointment includes a one sheet of here are the most frequently asked questions. Why? Because I don't want you to ask me in the listing appointment. I got too many other things to cover. Secondly, I'm not great at objection handlers. I want us to be best friends. I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. Don't ask me those questions. I want to answer them before I even show up. The second one is the guides and the tools. Ladies and gentlemen, as we talked about, right? Buyers and sellers on average do this anywhere between 7 to 10 years. Can you imagine if you go to the grocery store? Let's say you have not been to a grocery store in 7 years. Think about what a grocery store looked like 7 years ago. And all of a sudden now you show up and there's these machines up there and you're just supposed to do self-checkout on your own? A tap to pay? What? What is that? I had to bring my own bags? The consumer is the exact same. They haven't done this in 7 to 10 years. They're coming in unknown. Provide the resources, the tools, the guides. Here's the step-by-step play of what this next step is going to look like. Once we finish this step, this is going to happen. Then once we get here, then this happens. And then we get to the closing table. But guess what? The closing table, ladies and gentlemen, if the closing is the very last item that's on your guide, you're not providing a 10 out of 10 customer service. You're leaving them at the finish line and forgetting about them. The goal is for you to become the market leader by providing those resources, those tools, and those services. Last one that I want to leave you with is we must share your clients' stories and not just yours. Ladies and gentlemen, I was guilty of this, right? I was in the TV world, and for whatever reason, I got into real estate, and I was told, oh, you have to have a really pretty headshot. And if you want to hold your dog, you can, and talk about all the things that you love doing, and let the world know who you are. I did. I posted on social media. I showed people that I went out and had a spaghetti dinner last night. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you this. The consumer, the only thing that they care about is that you are relatable. The other thing that they're looking for is how they see themselves in your business. Show them the customers that you are working with. Tell them your clients' stories. Instead of this horrible plague right now, ladies and gentlemen, stop with the just solds. I beg of you. Can you imagine if Walmart every day said, oh, sold 17 pairs of sweats today. Sorry, you can't buy them. Sold. Neiman Marcus. Hey, guess what? We're completely sold out of gold watches. We sold 5 of them today. You can't have them. Check out how great I am. I sold this house, but it's no longer available for you. Call me if you want to go see another one. I call it the just sold plague. Instead, turn this just sold post into, I am so excited for my clients to be able to grow their family in this beautiful 3,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. When we first started this road, we never thought that they'd be able to get into a home in 2026. But with the help of such and such lender, such and such title, and the work of all of us put together, we got to the closing table. And when I asked them what their favorite part was, it was this. And you copy and paste a portion of their 5-star review for you. Please, please, please. Homework assignment number 2. Get away from the just sold plague. It does nothing for you besides brag and say, na 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 na, I sold another house today. Look at me, I deserve a gold star. It is not customer experience. It does not provide any resource or tool for you. Instead, celebrate your clients' milestones. I think to do it authentically, you can talk about future clients and those people that are watching how you treat people, and they're not just transactional. You celebrate your clients' milestones authentically, and I think future clients are watching how you treat people, not just, again, how you do those transactions. That was a repeat. Silly. 2 on the screen. That's how important it was. Lastly, based on the current trends, what should brokers and educators prepare for in 2026, especially when it comes to the real estate landscape? This is one that I think is the most important. Ladies and gentlemen, if I were you, I would take a screenshot of this. I'm happy to send my slides to you. But this also comes again from the KW University slide deck when it comes to customer experience. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the consumer is looking for. This is what we should be posting about. This is what we need to have on our website. They asked, hey, consumers, when it comes to real estate, what are your needs? KW did all the research and tools for you. We just now need to take this and regurgitate it back out and say, hey, look it, I'm providing all of these things that you were looking for. 52% is obviously help finding the right home, which is fantastic, right? We all think that we can do that. We have our MLSs, we do our searches. Help negotiating the right terms, help with price negotiations, the price of a comparable home, and help with the paperwork. What I want you to actually take a look at is over on the far right of what the customers are looking for in their agent. And what you're going to notice is on the top far right, 31% are looking for the reputation of their agent. If you're not sharing your clients' experiences, you have no reputation. No one knows that you provide a 10 out of 10 service. Nobody knows that you're a fantastic agent. No one knows that you absolutely provide everything before the client ever needs it. You're just like, unfortunately, everybody else. 31% of the customers are looking your reputation. It's imperative that we are out there shouting it from the mountaintops, telling everybody what we're doing so fantastic and how we can help them ultimately get to the finish line and helping them buy and sell a home. Whoops, sorry, I'm a happy clicker. That gets me to my last and final slide here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not heard of the book Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, I strongly encourage you pick up this book. It is available also on Audible. And here's what's so incredible. He has a brand new workbook and field guide that is actually supposed to be coming out in April. Here's what's so interesting. If you actually buy the book anytime in the next 30 days, you're going to get the Unreasonable Hospitality Field Guide for free before it even becomes in the hands of the public in April. I strongly encourage you. I read this book. It's one of my most personal favorites. I read it on an annual basis, not only with my leadership team, but we use it as part of our book club. It is a fantastic read when it comes to talking about unreasonable hospitality, going above and beyond so that every time that you are working with the customer, you're getting that 10 out of 10 experience. As I mentioned, here are the 24 steps to grow your customer experience. You can simply scan this QR code. It is a PDF that we have put together for you. Share what we are doing, steal it, make it yours. But it is a step-by-step guide of 24 steps to help you grow your customer experience, taking the customer to the next level so that every time that you are working with your consumer, they're giving you a 10 out of 10 rating, which ultimately then results in the 80-20 principle, meaning that 64% of your revenue will come from your repeat business. Russ, I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Happy to answer any other additional questions for anybody as well. But hopefully this is something that was beneficial and helpful, especially when it thinks when we come to thinking about the consumer, the customer, and ultimately what they're looking for, especially here in 2026.
All right, Greg. Any questions for Greg? And by the way, Greg, that QR code didn't work for me. I don't know if anybody else had troubles with that, but maybe you can send me whatever that is, and I'll forward it on. Any questions?
I'll also
or
drop it
comments
into
for
the
Greg?
chat box here for you.
Carrie, thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. You were touching earlier on how you break your day into thirds.
Yeah.
Could you give just a couple of quick examples of what those tasks might look like?
Yeah, of course. So, right, obviously we know lead generation is one of the most important. But what's so funny is I think that we get tied up into I'm calling, I'm lead generating. Oh, I got one. And all of a sudden we forget about all the other things that we need to do. We focus now, that's the new number one priority, and we forget about everything else when it comes to the customer experience. And so I think that the biggest one is that we need to start and create the opportunity of how am I going to go above and beyond in creating that 10 out of 10 experience for them. So let me just give you one quick example is, I will do lead generation in my morning, and then I take about an hour break to kind of, again, reset, take a little breather from business because I need my mind to refocus. And so maybe I'll then go and catch up on my emails, right? Then I come back from that hour break and I say, okay, of my database, who is it that I need to love on today? Who do I need to nurture that relationship with more? And what is it that is coming up that I could be in front of it? One of the biggest things that I do is every single month, the first Sunday of the month, I spend about an hour and I handwrite a birthday card for anybody that's birthday is that month. Sounds silly, sounds small. Now we're in the digital age, and so my my team now is moving me over to digital birthday cards. I don't personally love it nearly as much because I think a handwritten card means the world, but we now send a $5 Starbucks, whatever gift card for everybody that's in my database to let them know that I'm thinking about them. I look up home anniversaries. That's another one. And then in addition to that, I set tasks for myself based on the forward phone calls that I am having with my clients that says, hey, John and Sally's son, little Johnny, has a big soccer tournament that's coming up at the end of January. So I need to make sure that I reach out on this date and wish little Johnny luck for his soccer tournament. The goal is every single day, I'm trying to figure out how I can make my customer or the consumer feel like they are the only one that is in my database. They're the only person that I am working with. What's crazy is I have about over 1,000 people in my database. And so I have to systematize it on a regular basis so that I can do it consistently with a system and a strategy that doesn't take up my entire day. So I'll devote another hour of what am I doing today to get a 10 out of 10 review from my consumers and my customers that are in my database. Great question.
Awesome. Any other questions for Greg? All right, Greg, thank you. If you can put that info in the chat or send it to me, that would be awesome.
Yep, I'm working on it right now for you.
Appreciate you doing this for us today.
Of course. Thank you.
Next week on the lift, we've got Tyler Shields. He's going to be talking about, Tyler's a top agent with teams in Colorado, Arizona, and I can't remember the other place, one other state. He's going to be talking about leading your way to more sales and how improving your leadership skills will help you sell more real estate. David Heine on February 3rd. I've been watching David on Facebook, and he's all of a sudden, the algorithms are all of a sudden in his favor because he is showing up. Greg, you're nodding. Are you seeing David too? And I asked him to come on and talk to us about how you can become a local area expert and get more real estate business. We promised you a new website, and it is coming. It's a custom built website, so it's been a little bit of a project to get it done. It is in staging right now. Ignore the background. There's a video that's going to be placed there, but it is being built. It's going to have a ton of great looking featured properties. And I love the way that they designed this to be photos first. And that could be a video, by the way, in a final outcome. Photos first, photos big, and it's showing off our beautiful landscape. This, by the way, is just the demo, not the demo, but the staging of the site. Here's the map that they built for us, showing all the areas where we have agents. And then, of course, some of our favorite neighborhoods as well. There's going to be a place where we can talk about our value proposition for agents to join us. Each of you will have again, these are just staged photos, but each of you will have a place where you can put your information. And here's what I'm asking of you today. As soon as you can, please email Marielle at klrw889@kw.com or at klrw1076@kw.com. We need your updated headshot. We did photos last fall for this project, and if you weren't available to do that, go get a headshot. We need your, this isn't a good example. Sorry, folks. Let me see. Some of these are different levels of completeness. Hold on. We need your bio as much as you want to tell us about yourself. We need your contact information. And once this is all together, and again, I'm trying to find, they put different levels of information in these demo sites. Once we get, I can't find the right one. Your listings are going to go in here too. So we need your photos, we need your bio, we need your contact information, and then down after that right here, it's going to have your current listings and your most recent sales photos first. So please get that information to Marielle as soon as possible. Any questions for me about that project? This website will go live in February. It's completely built. It now just needs to get funded with that information that you're going to provide. Your team leaders are working on community descriptions, and we're just kind of finishing up the dialogue, but the structure's done. So talk to you all soon. Have a great week, and see you next week on the lift. Bye-bye.